When someone does a disappearing act, let's be real with ourselves. The first thing you're going to do is get upset. That's natural. I don't want you to feel bad about that. People trying to make you feel bad about your feelings. But I got to say that first so the rest of this makes sense. Don't feel bad about how you feel because it's natural. It's normal to be upset. It's normal to feel rejected. So because those feelings are going to be present, if we're being real with ourselves, when you first see somebody disappear or ghost you, you got to fall back. Now that might seem like common sense, but from everybody I talk to, it's not common sense. And it may be common sense on an intellectual level, but once your heart and your emotions get involved, you're going to want to say something. You're going to convince yourself that that's the right thing to do, to text that person, to call that person. Maybe it may be something negative, or it might be something where you just hit them up and just pour your heart out to them. Whatever you decide to do when you're in an emotional state is probably something you're going to regret. That's just the way it is. And what's the problem with that? It puts you on an emotional roller coaster. All right. If you text that person and say, "Oh, I love you and I don't know why you're not calling or texting me anymore. What happened to you, my love, my sweetness, everything that I care about?" Now, give it about a week or 2 weeks, especially if they don't hit you back, you're going to be wanting to take that back. It may be the next day or even an hour later that you want to take that back. Now you're sending texts talking about, "I didn't mean any of that, and you're trash, and I hate your guts." Now you're looking crazy and you're feeling crazy. You're on an emotional roller coaster where, of course, because it's natural, you're going to feel a different way every few hours, every few days. But now you're conveying that to someone else. Maybe you might send them a mean message at first, and now you send them some lovey-dovey stuff, and you're just going back and forth with your feelings. So the first thing you want to do is really just take your time and let the situation shake out. You never know what they might come back with. They might come back with, "Yeah, you know, my grandma died in a plane crash, and, you know, I hadn't been on the phone for that reason," whatever. It could be any kind of thing. You never know. It could be some bullcrap excuse, which it probably will be. But you want to take the time to figure it out also so you can get your emotions together and you're not just saying and doing crazy stuff that's making you feel bad and look bad. Now, once you've allowed some time to go by and you know that that person is probably not going to hit you back in the near future, you could do a reassessment. If you're feeling it in your heart, if you really want to talk to that person, if you still like them, if you're still interested, if you feel like your emotions have calmed down, then you want to make casual contact, okay? You don't want to go too far. Look, when I say casual contact, I mean casual. I'm not saying send no long-ass text message. I'm not saying try to drop a bomb where you say something negative to the person to get them to respond. Because guess what? When you say something negative to that person, they're probably going to respond. If you hit them up and call them a little boy or call her a slut or whatever, she's probably going to respond. You're probably going to get a conversation going. But when that conversation dies down again, or when they, tell you they don't want to talk to you, you're going to feel bad about the thing that you said. You're going to feel like you messed it up. You're going to feel like, even though they kind of played you off, you're going to start taking the blame onto yourself because you did the last thing. You said whatever you said, and now you regret it because it's not really something you wanted to say. Generally, it's not exactly consistent with your character. All right? So you want to keep it real casual and real positive. Hit them up, long time no see, or hey, what are you up to? Something like that. If you just really feel like you have to connect with that person and you want to talk to them. It's even better if you know where they're going to be and you could pop up on them. Like maybe they're going to be at the mall or something like that. I know some people are like, "Oh, that's desperate, that's lame." Hey, in life, you're going to have to make different moves to get what you want. Now, if it's about closure for you or it's about getting an opportunity to get back in front of that person, then you got to do all you can for yourself. Because I promise you, when things don't work out and you don't feel like you did all you can, then you have unfinished business. And as I talk about it all the time, unfinished business is the leading cause of obsession. This is what keeps you going for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, sometimes 4, 5, 6 years. If you hit that person up, make that casual contact, at least try, a lot of times that's enough to let you move on and not really care anymore because they weren't hitting you back. And if they do hit you back, it's an easy way to transition and figure out what's going on, and get back into the situation. What do you do when a guy hits it and quits it? What do you do after that happens? Okay, a lot of times I talk about how to avoid this situation, by not having sex until you're in a relationship, things of that nature. But sometimes you have already made that move and the person has hit it and they have completely stopped calling you, with radio silence on you, and, just basically just left you hanging and you have no idea what happened. Okay. So what do you do in that situation? Number one thing you want to do, and this is two things together, but it's really one thing you just got to do all. You got to do it like kind of as one thing. Accept reality and take responsibility. Okay, here's what's going to happen most likely. You're going to sleep with this person. They're going to not call you for about a day or two. At first, you're going to say, wow, they blew me off. That really sucks. I'm kind of pissed. I kind of feel bad. But, this kind of stuff can happen. Then, the ego kicks in. Pride kicks in. And you start wanting to change the narrative. You don't want to believe what happened. You want the fairy tale ending. This is what generally causes you to start calling the person, texting the person, trying to find them on Facebook, Twitter, all kind of Instagram, stalking their page, trying to figure out what's going on, because you don't want to believe that this happened to you. Even though you may have been okay with it for a little while at first, all of a sudden, and sometimes friends can get involved too and help you with this, but all of a sudden you don't want to believe that this person isn't really interested, and this can cause all kinds of behaviors that can be detrimental to you and make you end up feeling stupid, looking stupid, and just wasting a whole lot of your time. Also, taking responsibility. That's why I put those together, because you have to do both at the same time. Take responsibility for the situation. You're going to want to blame this other person. You're going to want to say, oh my God, the way that they treated me and the way they used me for sex, it was wrong. It was horrible. But you have to understand and you have to realize that you are a willing participant in what happened. You decided to have sex with this person. You know how it was. It was before y'all had any kind of relationship set up. It was before you were trying to get this person to like you a little bit more. Or you were horny. Either way, now all of a sudden you want something that you didn't really agree upon, or you at least expected the person to call you. But, this is something you decided to do. So you got to take your responsibility in this situation, and the fact that you didn't secure a relationship, that you didn't secure any promises, other than, hey, I'll call you tomorrow or something like that. You didn't really secure anything from this person, so that's your responsibility. And when you do that, when you take responsibility and accept reality, it's going to help you with all of the next steps, and it's going to put you in a stronger place. Number 2, be honest with yourself about your feelings. This kind of goes back to accepting reality. Be real with yourself about your feelings, because let's be honest, you're going to be hurt initially, and you're going to feel rejected. And you're going to feel like this could have been the love of my life, and this is somebody I really wanted to be with. And 9 times out of 10, that is complete and utter nonsense. Be real with yourself and be real with your feelings. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not really that you even like this person. It's that your ego is bruised by what happened. You're putting this person on a pedestal now because they've rejected you. Now you're sitting over here saying, oh, I love this person. Oh, I really wanted to be with them. Oh, they were everything to me. Oh, they could have been my future. But the reality of the situation is the hurt is coming from being rejected. The hurt is coming from the fact that you didn't necessarily get what you wanted out of the situation, or you didn't even get to dump them. Because reality is, if they would have kept calling you a bunch of times, you might have dumped them anyway. So be real with yourself and be real about your feelings. A lot of times we chase people when we're really just chasing our own pride and our own ego, and we want our story to end differently. So be real with yourself about your emotions. What do you really think about this person? What do you really think about what you had or didn't have? Okay, gotta be real. Number 3, this is a big one too. Stop giving him what he isn't earning. Okay, what does that mean? For a lot of people, what you're going to do is you're going to try to chase this person. You're going to try to call this person. You're going to try to go out of your way to get back in touch with this person. And if they do pick up the phone, or they do answer a text, or they do respond on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever social media app you use, if they go ahead and respond to you, 9 times out of 10, what you're going to do is put all kinds of effort into winning this person over. They haven't earned that. They haven't shown you that they care about you. They have never done anything for you but give you a few stiff jabs in the bedroom and then chuck you to deuces. Now you feel like you got to go out of your way to show this person that you're worthwhile and that you matter and that you're about something, when they've shown you that they could care less about you, or that they are not going to put any effort into developing anything with you. As you give somebody things that they haven't earned, you are showing them that you have absolutely no value and they don't have to work to be in your life. So when he wants to come back around again, he's going to, without having to make any effort to be around you. And since he put no effort in the beginning, it's not going to mean anything to him to just stop calling you, because he didn't lose anything. He already smashed, and it wasn't like he had to work. It wasn't like he had to put in any effort, and it wasn't like, basically what you did was you did everything for them. So don't give a person what you know they haven't earned. If they haven't earned any of your time, they haven't earned any of your love and caring and nurturing and all these things, don't give these things to a person just because you find them attractive, just because they seem like they got a lot of stuff going for them, just because they seem really cool, just because they got a nice smile, or their penis is big, whatever the case may be. That doesn't mean that they've earned anything from you, okay? So don't give what the person hasn't earned. Number 4, this is a big one also. Focus on your insecurities. A lot of times, the reason why you're chasing this person and the reason why it hurts so bad that this person isn't calling you, or that this person hit it and quit it or whatever, is because of the fact that there are things about yourself that you feel this reflects on. Okay, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, man, did he not call me back because I don't have a good job? Did he not call me back because I'm a little heavy, because I'm a little skinny? Did he not call me back because I got low self-esteem? Did he not call me back because I'm shy? These are things that you may be insecure about, and this is probably what caused you to want to give it up to this dude in the first place, and what's causing you to feel so bad about the fact that he's not calling you. So work on those insecurities and think about those things. Develop yourself while this person is dissing you or whatever it is they've decided to do. Make it about you and how you can improve yourself. Don't take the diss to be about you so much, but just take your feelings to be about you, because they're never really about somebody else. They're really always about us. Number 5, make him prove it. I'm going to be as honest with you as I possibly can be. When you don't chase a guy after he pulls this crap, when you don't try to ignore him either, when you don't try to sulk, because this is what a guy's expecting you to do. They smash, they don't call you for 2 or 3 days, they're expecting 1 or 2 things to happen. And it ends up the same no matter what. You're either going to call them right away and start blowing up their phone, or you're going to wait a few days and start blowing up the phone, or start texting them, or whatever means you use to communicate with that person. They're expecting you to do that. When you don't do that, when you show poise and you show the fact that this has not really hurt you at all, when you're out here living your life, working on yourself, you on Instagram and stuff like that, having fun with your friends, not putting up all these old angry, sad quotes and all this kind of stuff, that person is 10 times more likely to want to come back and deal with you again. And when they do, this is when you don't just give in to this person and give them the opportunity to use you. You're going to want to change your story in the back of your mind. That's why I'm talking about make them prove it. You're going to want to change your story deep down in your heart and in your spirit, because you're not going to want to be the person that got rejected. You're not going to want to be the person that got used. So the immediate instinct, even though you might be saying no right now, the immediate instinct is going to be to jump right back to that person and then let them use you all over again, because you're not going to want to believe that that's what happened in the first place. So what you want to tell yourself is, before I deal with this person, I'm going to make them prove that they care about me. Everything they did to make this situation wrong, they're going to have to make it right. If they didn't call me, if they never took me out, if they never told me how they felt about me in a positive way, all of the things that they did to make it wrong, they're going to have to do to make it right. Now, 9 times out of 10, the person's not going to be able to pass these tests, and you're never going to sleep with them again or deal with them again. But every once in a while, somebody will go about it, and then you can really make a true assessment of how you feel about them. Once they give you the things that you want, you can really decide, do you like them, or were you just hurt because you felt like you got used? What's up with guys disappearing only to come back later on and act like nothing happened? Well, guys do that. Yeah, that's totally true. And some ladies do that too. But the reason why a person would do something like that is generally because it's about control. Now, don't get me wrong. In some cases, people actually do have things going on. They might be an ex, it might be some family issues, might be some serious problems that they got going on. They might actually kind of ghost you or disappear on you in an effort to try to fix whatever issue they got, and then they might come back. Now, if that happens, that generally happens once. But when somebody establishes a pattern, then we know this is about control. Now, what you'll notice is when somebody does this whole disappearing act, usually what it's about is things are going good. Normally things are going pretty good. You know, you're not seeing any signs that they're upset or anything like that. But something may happen that you're not even calculating. Something may happen that you're not even thinking about. And in order to gain some measure of control, they disappear on you and then pop back in your life. I'll give you an example. Say you're chilling with a dude. Everything's working out. You guys are going on dates, having fun. You know, y'all feeding each other grapes, popping them up, like, stuff like that. Everything is cool. Y'all going out dancing. Life is great and grand. Now, he might hit you up one day and be like, yo, you need to come to the crib and just, Netflix and chill with your boy real fast. And your response to that could be, chill? I don't chill. I'm not going over nobody's house and Netflix and chill. Take me on a real date. Now, this guy might be upset by that. He might feel rejected in some type of way. Or he might feel like, you're not really interested. You just want to go out on the dates. Could be whatever. Now, instead of saying something about that, it may be a week, it may be 2 weeks, but all of a sudden he disappears. Now, you've built this interest in the person seemed genuinely interested in you, so you're trying to figure out, what the heck did I do? What did I say? I don't even know what happened here. So you start going back in your mind trying to figure out what happened since everything was cool. So when the person does come back, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I really like this person. I'm not wanting to do anything to upset them. So if they offer Netflix and chill again, it may not be you. I'm not going to say you would do it, but I'm going to say a lot of people would go on ahead and get their overnight bag and Netflix and chill right after that. The reason why is because they don't know that the person is still interested. They think the person doesn't really like them anymore. They did something, so now they're trying to undo it. It gets you on the chase. Now, I know some of y'all are watching this right now and going, Chazz, why are you always telling us about this game and stuff? I don't play games. I don't need to understand this type of stuff. I don't care. I get that. I get how you might feel that way. But the reality is, when you don't understand game, when you don't know what's happening, you perceive these things as being real, and this causes you to chase. Now, here's what I mean. A lot of y'all think that chasing is only calling somebody up and begging them to come back, or when you see them somewhere, trying to get back with them. Nah, when you hit somebody up and curse them out, you're chasing them. It doesn't have to be positive. It could be negative. It doesn't matter. But you're chasing that person. They know you're emotionally involved, and you're emotionally involved because you feel rejected. You perceive what they did to be real. Now, sometimes people may not be interested in you, but that person generally disappears and doesn't come back. If a person disappears and comes back and does it again, if this is a pattern that they follow, then usually this person is trying to gain control. And because you may not understand that, because you may not see that, you're going to be likely to give them that control. Even if you try to go negative and yell at them or curse them out or do certain types of things, once you become emotionally involved, once you get yourself locked into somebody else's reality, the one that they created for you, you're already giving them control because they have control over your mind and how you see things. That's why I'm telling you about this. When somebody disappears on you and you take it as rejection or you assume that the person doesn't like you when they really do, now they have the upper hand. It's like if you go into a store and you know you can negotiate in that store. You don't go in there and go, oh my God, I have to have this. This is the most important thing in the world. If I don't get this, I will just die. Because then they're going to jack the price up on you. But if you go in there and say, yeah, it's all right, you walk away from it and look at some other stuff, even think about leaving the store and you say, hey man, how much is that? I might buy that. You know, you got a better chance of getting a good price because the person doesn't know how interested you are. Well, that's what a lot of people do. That's what a lot of guys will do in a relationship too. What they'll do is show that they're not interested. And I know guys are like, well, women do it too. They do. People will often make you feel like they're not as interested because it gives them the upper hand, it gives them more control. So you don't want to just believe something. If a person is coming in and out of your life, they're coming back in for a reason. So there must be some level of interest. That means you don't want to just automatically get emotionally involved, start doing silly stuff that causes you to have to chase. So when somebody disappears, a lot of times it's just an act of control, not something for you to get worried about and not something for you to necessarily feel rejected about.